A very good afternoon to all of you. You're watching Midday News. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the bulletin rolling with the headlines first. Supreme Court rejects review petitions on Rafale, says no merit in pleas challenging its judgment, refusing a CBI probe into Rafale deal. Refers review petitions in Sabrimala case to a 7-judge larger bench for re-examination. On day 2 of BRICS Summit, PM Modi to participate in plenary session, leaders dialogue with Business Council and New Development Bank. In his address to BRICS Business Forum, praise role of member nations in the world. PM Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping holds talk in Brazil days after India's refusal to join China-backed RCEP. PM invited for Russia's Victory Day celebration at meet with Russian President Putin. India slams Pakistan's comments on Ayodhya verdict and Kashmir at UNESCO conference, highlights Pakistan's role as world's largest exporter of terrorism. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari inaugurates 39th edition of India International Trade Fair in New Delhi. This year's theme, Ease of Doing Business, is inspired by India's improvement in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. In a big verdict, the Supreme Court has dismissed a batch of review petitions in the Rafale case. The top court said the review petitions were without merit. The Apex Court also rejected the contention that there was need to register an FIR in connection with the Rs 58,000 crore deal. The pleas sought re-examination of the December 14, 2018 verdict, which said there was no occasion to doubt the decision-making progress in the procurement of 36 Rafale fighter jets. The judgment said the judges had reached the conclusion that it is not appropriate to order a roving inquiry into the allegations. In December last year, the Apex Court had dismissed the petitions seeking an investigation into alleged irregularities in the deal. On 10th of May, the Apex Court reserved its decision on the review pleas.
In fact, in Rafale deal, review petitions were filed by Arun Sheri, Yashwant Sinha, Sanjay Singh and Prashant Bhushan argued that matter. Those review petitions have been dismissed by the Supreme Court. Those review petitions have been filed on the plea of that some PMO people were negotiating the deal, some or other reasons have been given, they have found some new facts placed before the court, but the court found that there is no substance in all those allegations, and whatever the order we have passed earlier on Rafale deal, validating that deal stands, and so therefore they dismiss all the review petitions which are pending before them.
In the case of allowing entry of women of all ages into Sabrimala temple in Kerala, the Supreme Court has referred all review pleas to a larger 7-judge constitution bench in a majority 3-2 verdict. The 5-judge bench, led by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, said that petitions had sought to revive the debate about what's a religion and essential religious practices. Reading the verdict, Chief Justice Gogoi said the larger bench will decide all such religious issues relating to Sabrimala, entry of women in mosques, and practice of female genital mutilation in the Dawoodi Bohra community. Last year, on September 28, the Supreme Court had lifted the ban that prevented women and girls between the age of 10 and 50 from entering the famous Ayyappa shrine in Kerala, terming the practice illegal and unconstitutional. In another judgment, the Supreme Court closed a contempt case against Rahul Gandhi, which was filed by BJP MP Meenakshi Lekhi over his comments on the Prime Minister. The court also asked him to be more careful in future for attributing his remarks to the court. Prime Minister PM Modi is in Brazil right now. Let's take a look at all the happenings there. On the second and final day of his Brazil tour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the plenary session of and participate in the leader dialogue with BRICS Business Council. On Wednesday, PM addressed the closing ceremony of the BRICS Business Forum in Brasilia and said that BRICS nations have contributed to economic development despite global recession. He added that BRICS contribute 50% in the economic development of the world and have contributed to economic development and brought crores of people out of poverty. Calling India as the world's most open and investment-friendly economy, he urged BRICS business leaders to invest in India. He also called for simplifying intra-BRICS business to increase mutual trade and investment.
विश्व में मंदी के बावजूद ब्रिक्स देशों ने आर्थिक विकास को गति दी है, करोड़ों लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकाला है और टेक्नोलॉजी तथा इनोवेशन में नई नई सफलताएं हासिल की हैं। अब ब्रिक्स की स्थापना के 10 साल बाद भविष्य में हमारे प्रयासों की दिशा पर विचार करने के लिए यह फोरम एक अच्छा मंच है। फ्रेंड्स, इंट्रा ब्रिक्स बिजनेस को आसान बनाने से परस्पर व्यापार और निवेश बढ़ेगा। हम 5 देशों के बीच टैक्स और कस्टम्स प्रक्रियाएं सरल होती जा रही हैं। इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स पर और बैंक के बीच सहयोग से बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट आसान हो रहा है। अगले 10 वर्षों के लिए हमारे बीच बिजनेस में प्राथमिकता के क्षेत्रों की पहचान की जाए और उनके आधार पर इंट्रा ब्रिक्स सहयोग का ब्लूप्रिंट बनाया जाए। फ्रेंड्स, हमारा मार्केट साइज, विविधता और हमारी पूरकताएं एक दूसरे के लिए बहुत फायदेमंद है। उदाहरण के लिए, अगर एक ब्रिक्स देश में टेक्नोलॉजी है तो दूसरे में उससे संबंधित रॉ मटेरियल या तो मार्केट, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, फर्टिलाइजर, कृषि उत्पाद, फूड प्रोसेसिंग आदि में ऐसी संभावनाएं विशेष तौर पर है। मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि फोरम 5 देशों में इस प्रकार की पूरकताओं की मैपिंग करे। मैं ये सुझाव भी देना चाहूंगा कि अगले ब्रिक्स समिट तक ऐसे कम से कम 5 क्षेत्रों की पहचान की जाए जिनमें पूरकताओं के आधार पर हमारे बीच जॉइंट वेंचर्स बन सकते हैं।
On the sidelines of the 11th BRICS summit, PM met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, during which both leaders reviewed the progress made in the bilateral ties and discussed ways to further expand the special strategic partnership. The two leaders noted that both sides share a common position on international issues and agreed to continue close consultations in the future. Putin also invited the Prime Minister for the Victory Day celebrations in May next year. He also held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, and the two leaders agreed to maintain a close contact on matters relating to trade and investment to further deepen and add new vigor to the bilateral ties. The leaders also exchanged views on issues including WTO, BRICS, and regional comprehensive economic partnership. The Prime Minister met Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, where the two leaders discussed a range of issues, including ways to strengthen the bilateral cooperation in the areas of economy, connectivity, and people-to-people ties. Our news correspondent Akhilesh Suman is joining us from the newsroom. Let's understand what's happening in Brazil. Akhilesh, this is PM Modi's 6th year at the BRICS Summit. This year's event is being held under the theme BRICS, Economic Growth for an Innovative Future. How's the day likely to pan out today?
The day going to be very fruitful, that this is the most important and the prime day of the BRICS Summit. And in this BRICS Summit, I can tell you that on the average, you can divide between the sessions after sessions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to participate in three sessions. The first is closing ceremony, and that closing ceremony is going to discuss the critical issue of sovereignty of nations, and that includes sovereignty of BRICS countries also and sovereignty of other countries also, because that sovereignty is one issue that every country is very possessive about. But what are the challenges of sovereignty and what are the opportunities of sovereignty? So, these are the issues, and you have recently seen that many countries have been intervening in internal affairs of many countries, including China, who had commented on India when Article 370 was abrogated. So, I think this is going to be one of the most important issue in this BRICS summit, because BRICS summit was made so that they can understand each other more coherently rather than they can differ with each other. So, I think this has come into open in last a few months when China started talking about India. So, I think this is one of the major issues, that how BRICS countries should behave, not only internally, not against amongst themselves, but also about the other countries. The second theme is really very important, that is creating a network of BRICS innovations and BRICS institutions, so that they can get benefited out of each other's achievement. And if you remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been telling, and yesterday also he told that there are complementaries and supplementaries among all the BRICS nations. One can have resource, one can have technology, one can have skill. So, they can collaborate together to create a new type of economy. That economy was till now monopolized by either the Western country or the America. So, I think this is going to be the second major issue, and the third issue is about new development bank. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other BRICS nations are going to take a report about the new development bank, and new development bank will present their report, and there will be consideration whether new members should be associated with new development bank. So, I think this is the third major issue in three sessions. So, you can understand that these are all important issues, and that is why BRICS was established to create a new future for the developing world.
Right, Akhilesh, thank you so much for joining us on this. India gave a stern response to Pakistan's statements on Kashmir and Ayodhya at UNESCO's 40th General Conference in France. Indian diplomat Ananya Agarwal in her reply said that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are an integral parts of India, including the POK. Responding to Pakistan's comments on Ayodhya verdict, India said that Supreme Court's judgment is about the rule of law and equal respect for all faiths, concepts that are alien to Pakistan. The statement condemned Pakistan's pathological compulsion to comment on India's internal affairs with the obvious intent of spreading hatred. India also said that Pakistan is the world's largest producer and exporter of terrorism. The statement added that Pakistan is home to 130 UN designated terrorists and 25 terrorist entities listed by the UN as of today. It also cornered Pakistan over 9/11 and 26/11 terror attacks.
Mr. President, my delegation takes the floor to exercise its right of reply to refute Pakistan's juvenile propaganda to malign India through fabricated lies full of deceit and deception. We condemn the unwarranted comments made by Pakistan on the judgment of the Supreme Court of India. The judgment is about the rule of law, equal respect for all faiths, concepts that are alien to Pakistan and its ethos. So while Pakistan's lack of comprehension is not surprising, their pathological compulsion to comment on our internal affairs with the obvious intent of spreading hatred is condemnable. Mr. President, the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have always been, are, and shall always be an integral part of India. Pakistan's intervention is an interference in India's internal affairs. It is unacceptable and we reject it. Pakistan is the world's largest producer and exporter of this evil. Pakistan's political approaches are rooted in terrorist violence, and its global engagement is defined by mainstreaming of terrorism as an instrument of statecraft. Ask yourself the following questions. In which country were the perpetrators of 9/11 and 26/11 terror attacks discovered? Where were Osama bin Laden and Mullah Omar found? Which country is home to 130 UN designated terrorists and 25 terrorist entities listed by the UN as of today? which is a country where organizations such as Hizbul Mujahideen, Jamaat-ul Dawa, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and many other banned terrorist outfits openly conduct their activities, collect funds from the streets, and run their offices with active support of the state machinery. Which country is a leader in aiding, abetting, and financing of terrorist activities? The army of which country massacred millions of its own citizens just because they spoke a different language? The answer to these questions is Pakistan. We, the UNESCO and the global community, certainly do not need Pakistan, this hub of global terrorism, to be waxing eloquent on internal affairs of my country.
With this, we'll halt in for a quick breather, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
What are some key legislations introduced in Rajya Sabha? Some of the key legislations introduced in Rajya Sabha are the Indecent Representation of Women Bill 1986, the Indian Succession Bill 1991, and the Marriage Laws Bill 1999.
Delhi for centuries has nurtured many kingdoms and rulers. These kingdoms have left us several significant monuments with an incredible history to tell. Among these monuments is one which is in the midst of posh bungalows in Hauz Khas area, the Chor Minar. Built under the rule of Alauddin Khilji, telling a statement of his rule, is believed to have stood out as a deterrent for thieves and thugs who attempted to venture in his kingdom. Built in 13th century, the pillar is made of rubble masonry and stands at the center of a platform. Each of the four sides of the platform has three arched recesses with a doorway on one side leading to a spiral staircase. The pillar, also believed to be known as the Tower of Thieves, was used to display the severed heads of the thieves and thugs through its 225 holes.
Welcome back. You're watching Midday News. 14-day International Trade Fair begins from today in the capital, Delhi. Union Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Nitin Gadkari inaugurated the fair. However, November 18th, it will be open for the business visitors only. The first 5 days of the event are reserved for business. The fair will be open for the general public from the 19th of this month. This time, the theme of the fair is ease of doing business. Several countries, including Australia, Iran, UK and Vietnam, are participating in the trade fair. This year, the status of partner country has been accorded to Afghanistan, and Republic of Korea will be the focus country, while Bihar and Jharkhand will be the focus states in this edition of the fair. Tickets are available online for visitors during public days. Ticket charges will be 60 rupees for adults and 40 rupees for children. Wholesale prices based inflation eased further to 0.16% in October due to subdued prices of non-food articles and fall in prices of manufactured items. The wholesale inflation stood at 0.33% in September. Last in October, the annual inflation based on monthly wholesale price index was at 5.54%. Noxious smog from raging farm fires and unfavorable weather has once again pushed pollution in Delhi NCR towards the emergency zone. In view of dangerous pollution in Delhi NCR, all government and private schools have been ordered to be closed till 15th of November. As the air quality neared the emergency levels for the third time in less than a fortnight, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said that odd-even scheme could be extended beyond 15th November. The Environment Pollution Authority also extended the restrictions on dirty fuel-based industries in Delhi NCR, whereas the Met Department said strong winds are expected from Friday, which will bring down the air pollution levels to the very poor category. Let's take a look at the news from climate and weather change. The Brown to Green Report 2019 on climate transparency says that the G20 countries are together responsible for emitting 80% of the total greenhouse gases. The report has praised positive and corrective steps taken by India in order to reduce emissions. This has limited the rise in global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius instead of 3 degrees Celsius. It is also noted that India is the only country among the G20 nations to promote alternative energy and try long-term efforts. The report also states that G20 countries are increasing carbon emissions to meet their energy needs, while the use of renewable energy sources is limited to only 25%. Nation is remembering the first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on his 130th birth anniversary today. His birthday is celebrated as Children's Day across the country. Parliament President Ramnath Kovind paid tribute to him and said that he will meet children and young innovators at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid homage to the first Prime Minister of the country, wishing a happy Children's Day. Vice President urged everyone to pledge that every child gets good education and a positive environment to grow up in life. He also interacted with children from several government and private schools from Haryana and Uttar Pradesh and called India's first Prime Minister a true visionary, whose vision of India was fired by educational institutions, steel plants and powered by dams.
आज देश की पहले प्रधानमंत्री पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी का जन्मदिन भी है। हमारे स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के नेताओं ने आज़ादी के प्रारंभिक दिनों में देश में लोकतांत्रिक संस्थाएं और संस्कार स्थापित किए हुए आधुनिक भारत के लिए आधुनिक दृष्टिकोण वाले नागरिकों की अपेक्षा रखते थे, जिन्हें अपने गौरवशाली सभ्यता और आध्यात्मिक संस्कृति धरोहर पर तो विश्वास हो, पर रूढ़ियों और अंधविश्वास पर नहीं। इस उद्देश्य से ही उन्होंने आधुनिक शिक्षा पर जोर दिया, उच्च शिक्षा संस्थान बनाए, वैज्ञानिक अनुसंधान और तकनीकी शिक्षा के लिए आईआईटी, एम्स, आईआईएम जैसे संस्थान स्थापित किए। उनका मानना था कि केवल सही शिक्षा से ही समाज का निर्माण हो सकता है।
Political leaders, including Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, paid floral tributes to Pandit Nehru. Narendra Modi also tweeted on the occasion of Jawaharlal Nehru's birthday. Om Birla paid floral tributes to Pandit Nehru at Parliament's Central Hall. Rich tributes were also paid to Nehru at Shantivan. Former President Pranab Mukherjee, former PM Manmohan Singh and interim Congress President Sonia Gandhi also paid tributes. A large number of MPs, senior Congress leaders and party workers also paid tributes to Nehru at Shantivan on his 130th birth anniversary. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Midday News. Thank you so much for joining us.